All right, welcome back to the Duck Call Room, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest in here with us today. If you're watching on YouTube, you've already seen him. But we have Mr. Reed Robertson in the house, Jase and Missy's oldest son.
The eldest Robertson grand boy.
Huh? Are you older than John Luke?
Yes.
Yeah. By how long? Not much. Just a
6
couple.
months or so.
Oh yeah, a few months. Yeah. Okay, there you go. I knew y'all were right. Yeah, I knew y'all graduated together.
Fun trivia.
All the things. Yeah, there you go. The eldest Robertson grandson.
They didn't graduate together, did they?
No, I was a year older than him.
Yeah.
Oh, a full
And he
year.
graduated.
He's old.
And John Luke
October.
graduated 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah, well, he took a minute. I mean, I knew they were supposed to be there together because, like,
Hey, John David knows my birthday.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll never forget it.
Yep.
Hey,
Me and Reed
never
share one
forget May
text a year.
15th, baby.
Yep.
May
Never
15th.
forget May 15th. Never.
I know if no one else wishes me happy birthday, me and Johnny D,
We got
we
it.
got each other's back.
This year it was like at 11. And
Yeah,
he
it was.
said he texted me, said we almost missed it. And I said, thank God you didn't.
Look at there, man. But no, Reed, thanks for joining us, man.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Well, hey, the only reason we don't have you more is because you live all the way up there in Nashville or wherever you call
true.
home. Isn't it? Are you Nashville proper?
Franklin.
Or Franklin. Oh, I know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that tax bracket a little different down there in Franklin. I like it. Like
He was just selling fish on the side of the road
Yeah.
It was.
years ago.
That's where it all started.
that's
Now
where
he's
it
in
all-
Franklin.
Now he's in Franklin, y'all. Now he's down the street from Luke Bryan and all them. It's a good time, man. No, but thanks for joining us, Reed. It's,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a we wish that you had come to town under different circumstances, but it's part of the inevitable. Coming in, because we lost Phil, Papaw Phil to you, which I know is a different dynamic than even a lot of us had with it, with
Yep.
him being your grandfather. So you said before we got to rolling, you wanted to know what our plan was. We don't have one. I don't know what all we're going to talk about, but even before we get into Phil, where does life find you now, Reed? I know you got a few kids, been married for a
3
little bit
kids.
now. Yeah,
Married for, ooh.
Uh-oh.
Come on,
I
man.
got married in 2016.
Don't worry, Brian ain't going to listen to us.
No chance. Go listen to other ones, not this one.
Hey, you'd be surprised. She likes to keep me in check, that's for sure. No, married in 2016. So what is that? 9 years?
9 years,
8.5 years, technically.
How many kids?
3 kids. I got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 10-month-old.
Are you done?
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
No,
Okay.
we're going to have a big family.
No. I'm trying to ensure that I am a established patriarch one day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say broke.
You have enough of them.
If you have enough of them, what?
If you have enough of them, people say one's bound to be a dud, but you never know. I'm trying to be a good dad. Maybe hopefully that won't happen.
We can't go down that road.
Well,
One's
what are
bound
you
to be a
doing
dud
in
in
Nashville?
Israel.
I own a real estate development company, so I build houses, houses, townhomes, all kinds of stuff.
All
Good
over
place to do it.
in Nashville, or just kind of
Yeah,
all over
mostly in
Middle
Nashville.
Tennessee?
They say 120 people move to Nashville every day.
Yeah,
So it's a good spot to do it.
Good spot to build houses.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
because
There's
see,
not enough.
Brittany is from there. Well, not from Nashville. She says Nashville, but I think that's because she don't think anybody know where Hendersonville is.
Oh, yeah.
But
same.
yeah, she was born and raised in Hendersonville.
There's a lot of little towns around Nashville where people just say Nashville.
Yeah, it's just easier to lump it all in.
Turning into Dallas.
Yeah.
a bunch of cities
that's where
in one.
Bridget lives in Franklin
Okay.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a nice little farm out there that she bought.
Okay. See, we know everybody around.
Well,
there.
well it's just, that's pretty country up there.
It is beautiful rolling
Outside of
hills.
Nashville, it really is. It's
Yeah.
beautiful country.
Kind of rolling hills,
Yep.
turkeys, deer everywhere, a few
Mhm.
ducks around.
I had some buddies come down and hunt in January with me, and they were like, I've never seen a place so flat in my life. It's just because you could just see forever, and you kind of take it for granted when you go up to Nashville. It's just rolling hills everywhere, and then you're driving. I mean, you can drive for 4 hours through Louisiana, and you don't even go up a hill at all.
Well, there's not but one. I don't think it, but there's one hill in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Mount Driscoll, baby.
Mount Driscoll at a whopping 500 feet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It ain't,
Hold
it
on,
ain't
let
a
me
lot,
Oh,
but it ain't. No.
Driscoll Mountain is 535 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just
Pretty
barely.
good.
I mean,
There's even a picture of the summit on Wikipedia. Yeah. With just some woods, y'all.
yeah, it just looks like you're average.
You can be climbing it and not even know you're climbing it.
Yeah, you get there and you're like, why do these people put this here? But
Yeah.
no, man, that's cool, man. So after pretty much y'all left when Duck Dynasty ended, right? Like Duck Dynasty rolls out. And
I'd say about 2 years before the show ended. I think.
y'all rolled out then. Okay,
Yeah. When did the show end? 2017.
17.
Okay, so a year before we got married and moved.
Okay, there you go. And then y'all been up there. You ever see any future leading you back to Louisiana, or you like the Tennessee area? I'm just curious.
Oh, we think about it all the time, back and forth. Every time we get up there, we're like, man, we love it up here. It's great. Then every time we come down here, wow, all our family's down here. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
and that drive's just far enough away to be a pain in the butt.
It is.
That
But
8-hour mark is.
Yeah, it was 7. It's about 7 hours, and then when we had kids, now it's 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, you had 3 of them in the span of like a couple days.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll say this: that's way easier than. Well, I don't know any other way, but to me, I'm like, hey, you're already in the mode, like it's already mass chaos. What's another one? You just keep having them, and you never get out of the mode.
Let me tell you something. When you have them 2 at a time, you
He had us
shut.
3 at a time.
That's different.
No, he didn't.
Basically.
No, he didn't.
I'm on Reed's side.
What do
here.
you got?
No.
I got 3.
I know, girl, boy.
Oldest is a girl, middle is a boy, youngest is a girl.
Yeah. Have you identified? Do you think you've had your dud yet?
No,
No, I'm kidding.
I don't think so. They're good kids. I'm biased, obviously, but
Yeah.
Hold on. So how many are we stopping at?
I want if we have another boy next, 2 girls, 2 boys, I think I'm done. But
But
she
if
wants.
you have another girl, you might.
Well, she has 7 siblings.
Oh wow.
So
I didn't realize Brighton's family was that big. She's
yeah.
got set-
Well, her family stuff's a little crazy, but
yeah, they're
like all
kind of
her older brothers
blended.
are all in their late 40s, early 50s, and
Yeah.
so it was a little weird, but I mean, I'm thinking 5 kids. So I'm thinking practically and logistically, I'm like, okay, I got a Suburban now, and if I have 5 kids, well, then I'm gonna have to get another vehicle, and I'm like, where do you go? You got a people mover now. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, church van.
I'm like, now I got to buy a church van. It's like my house isn't big enough. It's like, what am I doing
We
here?
stopped having kids so they wouldn't have to sit beside each other in the car. You got to have a buffer seat so nobody can hit anybody. Say it. I want to consider that. They start hitting.
Hey, different strokes for different folks, man. But no, 2 was good enough for us.
Well, you kind of
two at
like
one
my
time.
dad.
What's that?
You don't like people enough to create more of them.
No, not that. I'm telling you right now, the biggest factor for me was 0 to 2, mega shock. I could not imagine going from 2 to 4.
Ooh.
If it were to happen again, because then I've read, people that are in stages of life that we are, which are later parents, obviously. Man, I'm about to be 40. Like, like, no, sir. But those odds happen again. They just increase, and it's like, no, man, I think we're good. But it also leaves the door open for adoption for us, which is great. Like, I mean, there's lots of kids out there that need a home, man, that ain't got one. So if we do feel that we need one more to complete our family, we hopefully will remove one from a terrible situation somewhere and give them a shot at a better life, man. So
Yep.
yeah. So that's where we were. Now Brittany's all in fact because the boys are a little bit self-sufficient now at 2.5 or going on 3. Like they can do certain things for themselves. So now she's missing a little bit of that. They need me for everything.
She got that baby feet.
Oh yeah.
Hey, practice makes perfect, man.
Yep,
That's all
there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
say. Just practice. Keep practicing. But
0 to 1 was hard, and then from 1 to 2, no problem. My life changed none.
yeah.
Because she's taking care of the baby, and I just got 1 kid. Well, that was nothing. Just one.
You had
Well,
to
then
switch that
2
zone defense.
2 to 3, that was okay. Now she's just taking care of the kids. She's back in her own world. She's like, man, this is great.
Yeah.
This is awesome. She only has to take care of 1 now. She went from 2 to 1. Well, I went from essentially 1 to 2. And now I'm wrangling these 2 psychopaths.
Well, you
And that
named
are-
one of them Silas.
I
so.
did. He is the 4th Silas, which is concerning. I'm the one that named him that, but I mean, it is a little concerning when you think about it. It's like what
So
that
the
means.
Silas carried on. So there's
Yep.
Silas, your
Silas.
dad, Jase Silas.
Yep.
You read Silas, and then
David Silas.
David Silas. I like David.
Yeah, that's I saw him last night and I've seen him around. He does have that Silas look in his eyes. So but it's not a bad, it's filled with wonder.
Hey, I'll
the
tell you
world
this.
looks wonderful to him.
That kid can stick to a story.
Oh no!
And especially stick to one that ain't true. 'Cause-
Well, he gets that quite naturally.
yeah. Yeah.
Anything's a slouch himself as storyteller.
Yeah.
Okay, he gold his own.
Times can get tough on anybody.
They can, man, and you never know. You rarely see it coming.
Hey, worst time I ever had in my life. All of a sudden, we had a bunch of medical bills for a young man named Carter that was born, and we just bought a new car. And I said,
Uh-oh.
this math ain't mathin'."
Yeah, and that happens to people every day. Like you're on top of your bills. Next thing you know, like right now, inflation hits. And
Hey, Al.
Then groceries go up, and then you do have another mouth to feed, and then all of a sudden you're stuck, right? Like it's not your fault if you've fallen into debt, but it is your fault if you stay in debt. Because our friends over at Done with Debt can help you out. Don't worry, we've got a smarter, faster, far easier way out of debt. It's called Done with Debt, and they're not like other debt relief companies. They don't push loans or bankruptcy on you. Done with Debt are legendary negotiators who go head to head with your credit card and loan companies with one goal in mind: to drastically reduce or eliminate your debt altogether. And unlike those others, Done with Debt moves lightning fast. Most clients see more money in their pocket in month one.
Boom.
But look, don't sit on this. Hurry, because some of their brilliant debt erasing strategies are time sensitive. Life does happen. Just don't get stuck in it. Check out our friends over at Done with Debt. Don't make another bill payment until you talk to a Done with Debt strategist. It's free. Visit donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com.
Yeah. Oh, they were telling stories about me the other night. We were worried about Reed when he was a kid. He used to make up these stories and embellish. And my dad said, I'd go and I'd talk to people like, man, I mean, he's just an embellisher, And I'm thinking, oh, you were so concerned. You're the most embellishing person I've ever met in my life, aside from your namesake, who's worse than you. Like, what did you expect?
That's what I was fixing to ask you. How was it being like the son of Jase Robertson?
Oh, buddy.
Well,
Look,
I
don't know.
I'm going to give you a minute to think of how you want to answer that, because inheritance is real. And Jase may go clip the part of this if he finds out we're talking about him. But I remember sitting in this room before it was this. It was legitimately a duck call room, and Jase going, I don't know what I'm doing with Reed. I don't know what I'm doing with him. He said you ask him something, he just bald-faced lied to you.
He's a real problem.
He's like, I just don't know. He's like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And then he's like, then you got Cole, who ain't ever told a lie, right there beside him. And I'm like, this is not good. He said, everything I'm trying, nothing's working. And I'm over here like, well, buddy, I ain't even sniffed a kid yet, so I don't know why you're venting to me about this, because I am no help. Like I got
the
nothing.
difference was I was loud and proud of it. I was just like, no. But my brother, he saw me and he got sneaky. He was a sneaky kid.
No. Yeah, he was saying,
little
Well,
brother
like,
all the way over here.
he said, I watched Reed, and he's always in trouble. I think I'll go a different route here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was always funny. He was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do with him. He said, that boy will bald-faced lie to you. And I'm thinking, well, Jase, he's 15. Yes, of course. Like, what 15-year-old male doesn't?
I just think it's funny that Jase is upset that somebody else is embellishing a story.
No, because look, I don't even remember what happened, but I was doing something, and Christine just started cackling like a hen out of control. And she said, you're so stupid. And I said, every time you talk to me, I'm always so stupid. I said, why? She said, you kept him a lot when he was a baby.
Oh, talking about Jase.
Yeah. And she said, and then you wonder why you and him have all this trouble? She said, you gave him, he just osmosed a lot of who you are. That's why me and your dad can't get along. I'm serious.
Hey, you kept me one time when I was a kid, and I don't know what happened, but that only happened one time. That was the first and the last time.
Well, because
They
I
didn't
don't
let you
even
do it
remember.
again?
No.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But me and him have always hit heads.
Yeah, well, he's
The worst time
pretty
was, I
bullheaded.
thought me and him was fixed because because he said it about you one day. He said, I guess it's just going to get down that I'm just going to have to just show him who's the man. And said, hey, we're going to have a fist fight, and I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you. And one time in the duck blind, it got so bad that Phil called a meeting and chewed all of our butts.
Yeah.
And said, hey, when I leave the blind, don't nobody move till I get it. I'm sitting in the decoys with a boat.
Yeah. I knew I was a 30-year-old man about to take a whooping.
No, yeah. Oh,
I just thought he was going to be like bend over.
Was that the story where the find a tree story?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah,
Look,
that's a famous one.
The only thing that's out of the water is my neck. I'm sitting under a buckbrush. Okay, and what got me was, he killed one at 125 yards. And I said, you should have killed 3. There was 500 ducks at 60. We were just, we were just nose to
I don't think
nose.
so.
No, the argument is.
I said, well, here we go. We're fixing to get into a knock down, drag out fight.
Oh, it lasted for days.
Oh,
Days.
buddy.
I remember him coming home just,
Hold on.
steaming.
We've
Buddy.
done about 18 podcasts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah.
As a man who was present for that story, that one was a weird one. I said, I'm about to see a bunch of grown men just start fighting.
Oh, no. Oh,
And then
I
I'm going to have to pick a side.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I
and-
said,
Which side were you going with?
I said, this
Phil
is
Robertson.
fixing to get out of control. I said, me and Jase are fixing to both go home with black eyes, missing teeth.
I mean, I wasn't going to let Jase like put the boots to side or nothing, but like I was always going to stay on Phil's side because I still scared to death of him, right? Like I'm not worried about Si or Jase, but whatever Phil could do to me back then, I was like, I'm with this
he
fella.
coulda whooped
I'm with this
whooped
fella
everybody.
right here.
Yeah.
Like I am with PR,
Because
baby.
back in that day, I mean, he looked like Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah.
His forearms were twice as big as his bicep.
Yeah.
They was like this.
Yeah, he's still
Go
chiseled.
from pulling them stupid nets
Yep.
full of fish like 90 feet up from the bottom of Washita River.
Oh, those summers I worked with him. I mean, my first summer, I think I was 12. And I was every summer for 12, 13,
You
14,
worked
I
for
think.
Phil Robertson for a summer.
Well,
as a 12-year-old?
school would get out, and I mean, getting back to I was a handful when I was a kid because I never shut up. You know, that's why I was a bad liar because every
Middle name Silas,
Look.
everybody. Middle name Silas.
every 15-year-old boy is a liar. But if you don't
That's what I
shut
tried to-
up long enough for it to work,
Yeah.
you never get away with anything. That was my problem. And so school would get out. Well, they would say, okay, down to Phil and K's. There you go.
Boot
And
camp.
I would live there.
Yeah.
And it was summertime, so and he would wake up at 4:30 in the
Yeah,
morning.
he's running nets.
Oh yeah, he'd wake up 4:30 in the morning, and we'd go till dark. You know, when you're a 13-year-old boy, you got all the energy in the world, and he whooped my tail. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just all I could do to keep up with him. There was one time we were walking back to the rig, and we were in knee deep of water, and my excuse is that I was wearing waders that were 8 sizes too big. But he took off. He just never said a word. Just took off running, high stepping through knee deep water. And I heard the rig crank up, and I'm like, this dude is fixing to leave me out here. And he waited on me, and he got back, and I said, what was that? And he didn't say anything for about 30 seconds. He looked over. He said, I bet you wish you can do that when you're 65 years old. He took off. But he could roll.
Man.
Oh, what
yeah.
a story.
Yeah, you couldn't keep up with him walking through that mess, especially during the summertime. You just couldn't do it. You couldn't. I don't care how good a shape you were in. He was just he grabbed him hooks in because he's in tennis shoes. Like he's in just slip on tennis shoes, walking through that crap like it ain't full of leeches and cottonmouths and
Hey.
everything else.
When you was talking about them bitter pecans,
Mm-hmm.
he cut thousands of them things down with a stupid, weed eater blade.
Yeah, beaver
Yeah.
blade on a weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd go behind him spraying him. And of course, we'd start before daylight.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it'd be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd say, hey,
What gives?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done. Let's go.
Yeah.
He said, no, we ain't going.
Oh, he looked at it and said, that heat's about to break.
Yeah, it's fixing to cool down.
That heat's about to break. It's going to cool
we're
off.
fixing to do it for 2 more hours. You know?
Oh, we hopped in the boat one time, and remember Jesse, the little rat terrier had. Jesse was with us and hopped in the boat with us, and we both hopped in there. It was a cottonmouth coiled up, and Jesse killed that cottonmouth. I mean, just was barking, would fake one way, went the other way, grabbed it, would shake it. You know, we're standing in the boat. I'm freaking out. I hopped out, you know, and all this chaos. He never said a word. Oh, he was going, hey, ho, ho, hey, ho, ho. And Jesse kills that cottonmouth, and he just goes, that's why you got him.
Ooh-wee, man. I woke up this morning, and for the first time all year, when I opened that door to let my dog out, I said, uh-oh.
Odor?
No, summer's here. So you know what comes with that?
Sweaty.
Sweat,
pits,
stank,
packages.
all the things.
Sweat.
But we got something for that. Our friends over at Mando just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level. Introducing the Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control Solid Stick. It's double protection. Finally, you get the odor control you love with Mando plus powerful sweat control. So if you're a sweat hog like myself, which I am, I'm very much a sweat hog, you got to give it a whirl, you know. One swipe and you're good to go. This isn't your typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. It doesn't just mask odor, it prevents it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection, and unlike other deodorants that are loaded with chemicals, Mando uses only premium ingredients like gentle mandelic acid to keep you fresh and dry. No more worrying about sweat stains or those embarrassing pit rings, just all-day freshness and dryness. And as we're full bore headed straight into the middle of summer, you got to have it for day.
We're headed there.
I mean,
I am there.
Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code
Duck
at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Use code
Duck
at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.
I went with him. He pulls a net in, empties a buffalo in the middle of the boat where we had to do it. And the next thing, Jesse's on one, and there's scales going everywhere. He's biting this buffalo as he's flopping, and there are scales flying. You know, it was ridiculous. And Jesse finally stops, and he's got scales all over him. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I said, he don't like buffalo, does he? Phil said, no.
The original Jesse didn't like much,
No.
period, other than Phil and Kay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
That dog was a
Oh, I
stone
always
cold
remember
killer.
it. And Martin told me because he'd do it to everybody. Jesse'd be over on the couch laying down, and Phil put that hat in front of him and walk toward him, and just.
He loved it.
Hey, if you fool around, he would bite the crap out of you.
Yeah.
But as soon as you let it, he'd be loving on you.
Yeah.
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 But when you put something put over your face, oh no, here he comes.
Phil used
And
to
he will bite
love.
you.
He
Rat
used to
terriers.
love watching other people get bit by his dog. It was pure entertainment for him. And like the dogs didn't mean nothing.
And he didn't care if he knew you or not. He would do it.
He'd say, "Put this over your face. Walk up there." That dog.
He said, "Hey, here, use this hat, put it in front of your face, and walk toward Jesse."
And that dog just, and then eventually, if you didn't pull it down, you was getting bit.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was a rat terrier, so it didn't really hurt, but it sure was funny. And he got
When you're 8,
yeah,
I mean, it hurts.
yeah, he got tickled every
Oh, those
time.
rat terriers were a character. I mean, remember JJ? JJ was my dog first, and she hopped out of the truck one time while we were driving.
Her front paw
Broke her
go like
leg.
this.
Oh, her elbow was going this way. I mean, it was completely 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And it'd be okay sometimes, and something would happen. Here it goes again, you know. And I'm like, Papa, Phil, that dog. Oh, she'll be all right.
Yeah. JJ lived her life out with that foot going just
I
like
remember
that.
that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And then she also had that she had that dead spot in her eye where she wasn't
Yeah.
fast enough from a cotton.
Oh, yeah.
Like she had a little white spot in her
Oh,
eye.
no.
where
I
she
remember
got-
that day. I was down there that day. She got bit by a cottonmouth. I mean, they didn't do anything about it. It's her whole face swell up, and he just said, "Them dogs can handle it." You know.
Hold up.
Yeah.
And
I
she lost the eye.
I watched Phil. He walked out on his porch, and he swore, there's a copperhead,
Yeah.
and Kay had been out there doing something in her flowers with a hoe. Well, he just grabs that thing. He just he chopped that snake up. Okay, which ain't about that long, in about an inch piece. So the head's
She's
laying
that
there.
thing.
Okay, so the head's laying there an inch piece. Jesse come running up and stuck his nose down there to smell it. Yeah,
Yeah. Latched on.
Yep.
that's on. Well, hey, he shook it off, and then he took about 4 steps and just, hey,
Yeah.
2 days later, he was okay.
The only thing I've always said is the only thing tougher down there than Phil Robertson were his animals.
Yeah. It was survival of the fittest.
You got to be tough to live there and on that other street.
And my dad inherited that from him because they've got these little dogs at their house, which actually your dad has killed the most animals on Yellowwood Drive. I pointed at Johnny D. If you're just listening. That
Oh,
dude.
Dave,
My brother-in-law helped him too. Like, let's not get it. That's
I'll
what
say,
it's. Hey,
of all
one
the animals killed on the street they live on, Johnny D's father has killed the most.
He's
and there are
taken out
other
a couple.
people's pets in his truck.
Yeah.
But
They should be sleeping there.
that's another story.
That
But-
one was we can't really tell that story because my niece is gonna cry when they find out it was Big Dave that took him out. That dog was sleeping under my dad's truck, and he just got in and started driving. We tried to save him. No, but my brother-in-law's dog died. He had him for like 12 years. And so he goes and buries him on the back of Big Dave's property. And, if you ever buried your dog, it's kind of emotional.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And so he's leaving. He's kind of, head down, starts passing Jase and Missy's house. And how terrible is that story?
Is that the sound it made, or is that the brake squealing?
Oh, that was the sound. And he goes, "What just happened?" And then he had to go tell Jase, like, "Sorry, man, just got one of your little dogs."
Is that one of the little white ones?
Well, I don't remember. Yeah, it was one of the
They
small
all
ones.
look the same, but that's what I was going to say is.
And then he had to go bury it next to his dog.
It's survival of the fittest there because they've got these little dogs. And I asked my dad, this was a couple years ago now, I said, "How long have y'all had that dog?" "Oh, I think she's about 2. And my mom said, "Oh, no, she's 2 years old." This dog looked like she was 13 years old. I mean, hobbling around, legs sticking out, just matted hair, I'm like, this dog is 2 years. If you survive 2 years at their house, you're a wily veteran. Yeah. It's survival of the fittest.
I always called their street death row.
The only dog that ever did well there was Dingo.
Yeah.
And that's because we found Dingo somewhere else.
Yeah, Dingo walked up one day.
Yeah.
Dingo knew how to make it down that street because he made it off of the street.
I did almost take out one of them dogs on my golf cart.
But
the
your
other day.
dad has always liked little dogs because y'all had that little Yorkie too. What was
I know.
that?
Well, that's what they have now, these little bitty dogs.
That's the one Drew took out. Dude.
Yeah.
the
that-
Yorkie.
Which they did
Oh.
love that dog.
Yeah,
It was bad.
Daisy.
Daisy.
name.
That was
Yeah.
it. Daisy.
Yeah, I felt bad about it.
Yeah.
My dad, he always has the weirdest pets, but he does get emotionally attached to them, like big time. I mean, one time we had this pet chicken, and Sonny the chicken. I had
I
one
remember
name.
Sonny. Yeah.
And Sonny was a little yellow chicken, and I had a white chicken named Clorox. I don't know how I came up with that, but Clorox didn't make it. Well, Sonny,
That was-
Welcome to the weird world of the Robertsons.
I just had a flash of Jase
Oh.
telling that story was the weirdest part.
Yeah.
Well, so Sonny was this little yellow chicken we had. And it grew up to be a big yellow chicken, which you don't see a lot of. And this chicken just lived outside. We had no coop. We had no enclosure, nothing. It would live outside, and every morning we'd go to school. We'd open the door, and Sonny would sit there on the porch, and she'd follow us to the truck, and we'd give her scraps or whatever, Well, then she'd come in the house, and Mia would have her in her bed, I mean, it was a weird situation.
Y'all had a chicken like a dog?
Yep. Well, a cat came, and now
No, go for it. This is the duck call room.
A cat came and killed this chicken. My dad said, "I know it was this cat that hangs around." So my dad every day on his way home from work, he would stop and get a can of sardines, and he'd put the can of sardines in the yard, and he would sit at the dining room table with the window open, you would have thought the guy was in a ghillie suit, And he would sit there and wait for that cat to come try them sardines. And look, the cat came one day, but he was real skittish and he was moving around real quick, grab the sardines. And my dad said, "No, we're going to let him get comfortable first." I mean, this was like a month long. He stalked this cat, because he killed our chicken.
That's it. Hey,
Look, I saw Jase one time. Look, Jase gets like that. I saw him. We were down there. Just got done building duck calls, sitting on the porch, just like whatever at Phil and Kay's, and a blue jay crapped on his hat. Lit up there above him, big old pile of bird crap right on his hat. He said, "I'm gonna kill every blue jay I see for a year just to make sure that they don't do that
I got
again."
him.
And that boy meant it. He was just mad dog mean at blue jays because one of them crapped on his head. He just could not. He said, "I just don't like rudeness in a man." He said that's just rude. So him and all of his buddies are about to learn about it. Your dad's a particular individual. He is peculiar. Well, but the Silas, I think that just kind of goes with the territory, right?
It's just in his blood. He just loves to.
Yeah, what's funny is y'all like to tie into it so much, and he's your middle name, obviously. Well, then at some level, for some reason, Jase thought it'd be a good idea to pop your middle name, and then he couldn't believe that y'all fought that much. So you know what's coming. I mean,
Probably
you
so.
and David are going to tie into it in about fast forward 13 years.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, that's just the nature of man.
Yeah. And then he's going to tie into it with Jase, who's his granddad. But y'all all just going to be looking at each other like, why are y'all so hard-headed?
I think I'm the only grandson that got whooped by Papaw Phil.
Oh.
And I think actually Alex, you were the only other she's here.
Alex
is here. Alex is the only only other one that got whooped by Phil. Is that right?
You got whooped by Papaw Phil?
Well, she's been on here. She done told you she's a black sheep of the family.
She's headed to a microphone.
She is not.
Yeah,
she's not hid this fact.
It was less of a whooping and more of like a ball your fist up and bonking on the top of my head.
Okay.
While he's standing on the step above me, just conk like a Flintstone.
Why can I see that? Like a whack-a-mole. Just bop.
History, economics, the great works of literature.
Look, you ever get home, you get the kids down, get them to bed, and you're just like, man, I kind of want to zone out for a little bit, not do anything, but get trapped in the minefield of this social media. Look, I got something for you, a better use of your time, and that's where our friends over at Hillsdale College make it happen. And how they make it happen is they offer you more than 40 free online courses. That's right, more than 40 free. Not 43, I said free, Free online courses. So make better use of your time. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the stories in the book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or the history of the ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free, baby. They got a lot going on right now. Highly recommend you sign up for Ancient Christianity. The course has 11 lectures, and you'll study the inspiring stories of Jesus, his apostles, and faithful ones throughout the first 4 centuries of Christianity. You'll also learn the arguments of key early Christian apologists who defended the Christian faith in the face of persecution. The course is self-paced so that you can start whenever, wherever. Enroll now in Ancient Christianity to discover the improbable and miraculous story of Christianity. Look, it won't be long. We'll have more midterm election thing coming up. So if you want to brush up on the U.S. Constitution like Godwin did last year, they got you covered on that. There's 40 of them. you'll find
You're gonna find something you like.
that interests you, right? Like, and knowledge is power, and we all need more power. You want to find something for yourself? Look, go right now to hillsdale.edu/ to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/ to register, or click the link in the show notes. hillsdale.edu/
He had one rule: don't wake me up from my nap. And I came in there hollering one day.
Oh, yep.
And it was he bent me he bent me over right on the couch right there in front of all my cousins and everything.
Oh, you were the example.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And nobody ever woke him up from a nap.
Not another one. Not another grandkid ever woke him up from his nap.
Can I tell you how quiet I used to be walking in there to get something, and we all knew Phil was sleeping, just working there, and I'm just trying to work, like go get supplies. And if I opened that door and Phil wasn't in that chair, I was like,
no.
How do I get out of here without making a sound?
And so I used to sleep on the couch right there on his lunch break, and he would wake up, and we would all come and hide behind the couch because we used to count how many times when he would wake up. We'd try to count how many times he burped and farted when he woke up. And we used to think it was the funniest thing. Hey, hi, ho, he,
We used to do the same thing every time Si took a leak.
Okay, boys.
No, we're all on a plane and we landed somewhere.
Denver.
Denver. We landed in Denver and went in. Hey, and I've never been in this joint. So look, I go in there and I'm staring at the urinal, and click, the lights go out. When they come in, it was so great. Then they turned the lights out, and I literally had to do the mime against the wall to try to find the exit door.
Never let Willie leave a bathroom before you. That's
Willie turned it off. You know,
that's a rule in life.
I said, Willie, you made me kill myself. Good grief.
It was Dallas when there was about 10 of us in the bathroom at Texas Motor Speedway, and there was big, there were 15 urinals and size at one of them, and then like all 10 of us are going,
Hey,
and some poor random dude
No.
walked in.
There's 2 or 3 other people in there talking about, what in the hell have I run up on?
They all just looking at us like, what are these boys in here doing?
Good grief, they ran.
God, that's what I was vetoing when we talk about that. Like, Phil is your papaw, man. That's the kind of stories like, yeah, that's neat, man. Because I mean, it's the same papaw stories everybody has, right? Like, I remember doing the same thing, and it's something about that generation too. They all had to lay down and take a nap after lunch. Like, there was never that wasn't. If I need a nap, no, I'm going to take
that generation. My dad still does that every day.
Yeah, it may come with just something. May come with retirement. Yeah, I don't know.
So.
Maybe when you basically retire, you just go lay. Well, he started that in 1948.
Well, I know I'm the only man probably on this earth.
24 and a half years in the military.
Spent 24 and a half years in the military, and I got a nap every day.
Yeah,
you're the only one.
No, I'm serious. It was hilarious.
Did they ever get to looking for you? You think? Like, nobody ever reported? Did you have a secret spot?
Well, no, I was just like,
or you just go home?
At Swabrook, and I'd go back where we live.
Yeah.
Take me like, 30-minute nap.
Mm-hmm.
I had an hour for lunch. 30 minutes, I'd wake up and then walk back, come back, and
Well, you do have a certain skill of being able to sleep anywhere.
Well,
I mean,
the
man can sleep anywhere in any position.
A nap is the worst.
Well, no.
I love a good nap. I inherited that from him. I can sleep anywhere too.
I made the colonel mad. Okay, we had a big meeting one day, and he said, "Hey, I thought you was gonna fix this." And I said, "Well, you haven't gave me the green light." I said, "Every time I do something, y'all all get bent out of shape." He said, "Well, hey, are you in charge of this or not?" And I said, "Well, you tell me." I said, "Are you giving me the green light?" He said, "Yeah, you've got the green light." So, hey, then I went to work, and hey, as always, okay, I did what I needed to do. I dropped 3,000 cards into the computer system, and it created about 2 weeks' work for all the item managers. And they are all hitting the roof, So then that's when they come in and told me, said, "You don't have a job." And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you don't have to job, but you got to come in every day. So look, this went on for 1 year. I come to work and sit at my desk, and everybody's walking by. Nobody talks to me. I've been shunned. I've been blacklisted. Okay, well, hey, I done got mad now.
You sat at a desk for a year and just
No.
folded your arms?
Oh, it was worse than that. I had my gallon of tea sitting on my desk.
U.S. government.
Yo, I'm
Okay.
like this, yo. They come walking by the door. I say, hey, come on in. I got plenty of tea. Yo, they would run. I rubbed it in them suckers' nose every day.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
Yo, and it didn't make what your rank was. Yo, if the general come by, sir, hey, come on in, have a glass of tea with me. Yo,
He
so
didn't
look,
care. Oh,
a new major's
Like
coming
those
in to
socks,
take over my division, that I'm in. So we're watching each other for 90 days. Because it took him that long. We had military and civilian. It took him that long to interview everybody. So the day of days come. He's interviewing me. To say I've got a bad attitude is an understatement. So we sit down and he says, he kind of leaned forward on his desk and said, what do you do? Well, I just didn't give a crap. And I said, well, I'm not being a smart butthole. I said, but I'm going to answer your question with a question. I said, what have you seen me done? And he straightened up and he said, not a blankety blank thing. I just leaned forward and I said, I'm really good at it. He jumped up out of his chair. And then we're strictly military now. He called me to attention. He said, okay. He said, I got one or two things here. He said, I got the worst NCO in my army. Or I may have someone that's been that's been abused a little bit. So he asked another question. And I said, well, here we go again. I done poked the bear. I said, I might as well go all the way.
yeah. Let's get him really right.
Let's really get him. So he asked me, he asked me a question. I said, well, I'm going to answer your question with a question. I get real personal now, okay? I said, are you your own man? Or are you going to listen to all these people that have been whispering in your ear? I said, they all think I'm an idiot. Okay, and I said, that's far from the truth. I said, I'm not an idiot. I know who they're whispering in your ear about. It's yours truly. When I said, are you your own man? He jumped up and now he's pissed. He said, he started all this stuff and then he asked me another question. I said, sir, do you know how long why I'm mad? And he said, no, why are you mad? I said, because he gave me the green light to do my job. And I said, hey, look, I'm in the top 5% Army-wide. I'm that good at my job. At least 95% that are below me. And I said, he turned me loose, and I said, hey, they can't handle me.
They couldn't handle the truth.
I said, and they can't handle the truth. And I said, and he said, well, wait a minute. You're saying it's this screwed up? I said, yeah. He said, well, can you prove it? I said, oh, I can even go further than that. I said, I don't have to prove nothing. I'll go get you a computer printout from the system and let you see how. So look, this started at 2:00 in the afternoon. It's 4 a.m. in the morning and we're still talking. No.
Hold on. 2.
That's 14 hours.
Yeah. Y'all talked for 4.
Oh, no, we thought, yeah, because this guy's new.
The only person he talked to longer than that was Christine trying to convince her to marry him.
Oh, no, yeah. But anyway, look, after me and him was like this. He's the major, he's 6. When they saw us coming, they knew somebody was fixing to get their head chopped off.
I've been spending way too much money lately.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
What you been spending money on?
Oh, refrigerator, washing machine, all sorts of things.
All the adult things,
All
right?
the adult things, and it's no fun. So I've been having to take a very much closer look at the silly things.
Yeah.
And that's where Rocket Money comes in.
Yeah. They alert you on multiple large charges.
Well, those are necessary.
I know.
You got to have a fridge.
But it's still nice to get the alert, right?
You get the alert that I knew that I was going to, but now I'm looking at the other things. Like, I ain't watched that thing in like 6 months. Why am I still paying for it?
Because Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place. And if you see something you don't want, Rocket Money can help you cancel it. Look, Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. You can even go in there and create a personalized budget to help keep your spending on track. You get alerts on big purchases such as refrigerators and washing machines, and Rocket Money's there. You know, they can help you out. Look, they will even try to negotiate to lower your bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save, and then you can ask them to negotiate it for you so that you don't have to deal with customer service. What a life, man. What a time to be alive. I'm just being honest. Look, Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features. And, you know, right now there may or may not be a show that come out that maybe you didn't have access to. Maybe you had to download something, and there's a good chance you're going to forget about it. But not if you got Rocket Money, because they're going to remind you. You can see your subscriptions. You can choose to keep what you want, cancel what you want, all the things. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/duck today. That's rocketmoney.com/duck. rocketmoney.com/duck. So, Reed, what's next for you, man? What's just back to life in Nashville as normal?
Back to life. I hadn't been home in about a month.
Okay.
I was on vacation before this happened, and so I drove from Gulf Shores. We were on vacation. We were there for 2 weeks. I drove my wife and kids up to Nashville, and I unloaded the car, hopped in my truck, and drove from Nashville to here.
Okay.
So that was a long day, but I hadn't. I've been home for 30 seconds, just long enough to take a leak. I headed on.
And now all of y'all are in Nashville, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
my brother lives there.
Yeah.
My sister goes to Lipscomb, and my parents have a house there. So my mom comes up there all the time, but my dad, he says he's so busy with the podcast that he can't come up.
He came and did ours on his day off one time.
Yeah, he made sure to let us know it's his day off too.
Yeah.
Several.
Man, I'm up here on my day.
You can do a podcast anywhere.
Oh, wow. Hunter's really calling Jase out here for not coming.
That was the bravest thing I've ever
Oh,
seen you do in your entire life, Hunter.
That's because Jase doesn't even know who Hunter is. Still. Like, he can hear that, and he still wouldn't recognize him when he walked in here. Which one of y'all said that? And then nobody raised their hand, but okay. He must not be here.
I'm pointing.
Hey, well, he gives it to everybody on his podcast too. I know. Now you got to be careful about what you say, because I'll tell him, funny stuff, embarrassing stuff, like, listen to this stupid thing I did the other day. Well, the next thing you know, hey man, I heard that was hilarious. Whatever happened when you did this? I'm like, how did you know that? Oh, I heard it on your dad's podcast.
Yeah.
All the time. Everything
He's
I
an
tell him is
open book.
podcast material.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're all in a way looking for material through other people's things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you hear some unfortunate
Well,
circumstances.
we had a situation last night. I said, you going to tell that on the podcast? He was like, no. I said, well, I'm on Si's podcast tomorrow. I'm going to tell it.
Yes, what happened? Yes, what
So
happened?
look, my wife bought a bottle of bourbon at the liquor store, and I poured a glass of bourbon last night, and I said, Dad, you're gonna have a glass of bourbon with me before this is all said and done. He's like, no. I said, look, this week has made me think. It's made me think about a lot of things. I said, I don't want to look back at the end of my life and say I never had a glass of bourbon with my daddy.
Yeah.
just looked him right in the eye and said it.
He played on them emotions.
And I was standing
okay,
there
that's
holding
the salesman.
So
So watch him now.
So he held his glass up. He had an empty glass, and he said, "Just give me a swig of it." So I poured it in his, poured a little bit in his glass. I mean, as soon as I poured, ho, and just one block of ice went in there, and I had it over ice, and he takes a sip of it. He said, "That's like Dr. What did he say? Dr. Tisters or
Dr.
something."
Tishner's, yeah,
So that's
mouthwash.
Dr. Tistner's.
Yeah.
He was like, "That's the worst." He said, "I don't know how that caught on," but I mean, he was jiving and he's like, "My teeth are hurting." I mean, it was the most dramatic thing I've ever seen in my life.
No.
Yeah. Until my mom took a sip, then that was the most dramatic thing I've ever seen. I mean, they were just on and on about how terrible it was. I cannot believe.
That's a good.
Hey,
pair.
that's a conspiracy.
Oh, boy.
That's good.
That's a conspiracy. What are you doing?
Your dad was the most.
Uh-oh.
It was actually wonderful to see. Naive young man, okay, at his age. He really was. Okay, and it was a wonder to watch. Okay, because he was so
Now it's my turn.
purity is what I saw.
You know what I remember Jase telling us when he was the junior high boys Bible Sunday school teacher.
Okay.
And he looked at all of us, and I'm not kidding you. He goes, "I done figured it out. Like, y'all got this problem looking at women,
Yeah.
but doctors look at women naked every day. Just be like a doctor."
Hmm.
Then he was out. That was his whole spiel. And I was like,
He told me the
This ain't
same
working.
thing Papaw Phil told him, except for, I mean, he went through the whole thing. I mean, Papaw Phil, I guess when he told him, it was just quick, straight to the point. But he went through the whole thing, men and women, they do something that creates babies. He's going through the whole thing. I actually remember not paying attention, which is funny. And I remember coming to out of whatever days I was in, and I was like, I probably should have been listening to that. But all I remember was he said, "Let me tell you something, son. If you have sex with somebody that's not your wife, it will literally rot off your body." And I was like, "Dude, what?" And he said, "Hey."
That was Phil
And
Robertson.
I asked him, I said, "What do you mean?"
Okay,
And he said,
yeah.
"Oh, look, you just keep that thing in your pocket."
I won't be
Now that is the Robertson line from
Oh, yeah.
way
And,
back.
and I learned now that that's exactly what Papaw Phil told him. Hey, so keep that thing in your pocket, which he went into, which he told everybody: gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, syphilis, AIDS.
all of them.
He went down the list, which he also would do that in front of 15,000 people.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid of that one.
Yeah, I haven't been hanging around long, Phil. Look, he said, "Martin, you married?" Nope. He said, "Well, you better keep that thing in your pocket till you get that way, son."
Which he told
And I
me
was
the
like-
same thing. He asked me when I started dating Brighton in high school, which now she's my wife. But he said, Brighton met Papaw Phil. He said, "Y'all having sex?" I said, "No, sir." And he said, "All right, well, you keep that thing in your pocket now."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay,
Oh,
that's it. That's the line."
That is the line. I've heard that line many times.
you ever thought about how you put that thing in a pocket? It
No,
won't get there.
No.
I've
It
never.
ain't gonna make it. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Keep that thing in your pocket. Like,
I think it just means keep your pants on,
yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
which is
But
good advice.
It is good advice.
overall, yeah, pretty
If
solid.
you're listening, best advice we can give today: keep
Yeah.
that thing in your pocket. Won't be no trouble.
Oh, it's just like Phil sitting there. Man alive. Well, we always close with a Bible verse. Johnny D, you want to take it? You got
Hey,
one for today?
It's June, baby.
It's June.
We've been looking forward to June in this room. We've been through it in a lot of different ways. Martin's attended 4 funerals
4 and 3 weeks.
in
yep.
3 weeks. I've been at 3. We went to
Yep.
one the day after Phil's for a dear friend and coworker that worked at the Honey Hole and Duck Commander.
Yeah.
And we've just been me and Martin's big joke's been, hey, it's June.
June, baby.
And that made me think of Lamentations 3:22. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I will hope in him.
Amen.
And I'm hoping
Amen.
June's better than May.
Yeah.
And I
Even-
got a feeling it's going to be.
And the cool part is like even in May, you saw the hope coming
Mm-hmm.
through. Like even during all those things, man, the hope was what kept you going, man. And I think, you know, we're sitting here telling stories about a man who knew that hope, knew it better than probably any of us. And now is resting in that hope. And man, it's cool, man. It's still
Awesome.
I don't know how much longer we're going to talk about Phil, but it'll still be a while. And even if we do it every day from here on out, it'll never be enough because that's what he meant.
What I love about this is faith has been turned into fact
Yep.
by Phil.
Amen. All
Well,
right.
you
We
can't-
only knew what he knew now.
Well, the amazing thing is that none of us would be here doing what we're doing right now or anything we've done the last 40 years. I'm only 30, my whole life without him.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
we're never going to not be able to talk about it.
Amen. I love it, man. Well, we'll see y'all right here in the Duck Call Room next time. We're out.